Hi there. I wanted to share my 3 top tips to survive the festive period. I know that for many people, getting through Christmas and the festive period can be really tough on this journey. I know for me, Christmas was the toughest time, second to Mother's Day. I think Mother's Day was the worst for me and for us as a couple. But Christmas was a close second. So I wanted to share my experiences or some top tips to help you survive or almost enjoy some aspects of the Christmas period. The first one is acceptance. I talk a lot about acceptance and allowance. I remember one Christmas was fast approaching and I swore blind. I said, right, this is going to be the last Christmas that we are without children. Whatever happens next year, come hell or high water, we will not be spending Christmas childless again. I didn't know what I meant by that, whether if you can't get a home, we'll adopt or foster. I don't know what I meant by that, but it was a very much a lack of acceptance of the reality of our situation. And we often strive and determine to create things in our lives, but often that striving is actually built on fear. And my kind of lashing out and saying that kind of thing was built on fear of never having our own children, but also fear of never really being happy, fear of never really being able to enjoy Christmas. And I was fighting reality. Acceptance does not mean giving up. Acceptance means it's accepting where you are today. It doesn't mean you're going to be there again next year. It doesn't mean anything about the future. But when we're fighting reality, when we're not resisting reality, we're not being in reality. Happiness doesn't come from anything in our circumstances. Happiness comes from being present, just being present to where we are, what we're doing, without all this thinking about how life should be or where we might be or not be next year. It's about just being present with a quiet mind, being connected to our true self and the people around us. That's where contentment comes from. It's our thinking about how life isn't fair or we shouldn't be like this. It's all this thinking that fights reality, that prevents us from being present and finding peace and connection to people and the situation in that moment. So the first tip is, about acceptance. Acceptance is where you are today. It doesn't mean you're going to be here tomorrow. It's not about giving up. It's about accepting, okay, I'm here today, and just being in today, forgetting about the future. This doesn't mean anything about the future. Nothing can predict the future. And forget about the past. Just be in the present. Just be in the present moment. The second tip is about recognizing other people. Well, everyone lives in their own model of the world. Everyone lives in their own thinking. We all live in a bubble of thought, our perception of reality. And if we think life is outside in, if we think the things on the outside make us feel something on the inside, we don't realise we're living in our own reality. We think there's a common reality. And if we think there's a common reality, we think our thinking is right, and everyone thinks the same. We don't. We all live in our little model of the world. When we recognise that, we recognise our friends and family live in their little model of the world. And with things they say or do make complete sense to them, and they're all motivated by love. Everything they do or say or don't say is motivated by love. But they never know what we're going to be experiencing in our little model of the world. I always say it can be one of the loneliest journeys because friends and family don't truly really understand what's going on for us. So my recommendation is don't expect them to. Don't expect them to. Expect nothing from them. And when you get the unhelpful comments or the lack of acknowledgement of how tough it might be for you, that's because they're just living in a little model of the world. They're not aware of how you're feeling. And what you can do, if you want them to be aware, if you want them to understand, maybe you could talk to them, even write a letter to them so you really lay out how it is. But don't expect anything from them. And if they say things, don't get offended or upset because it's just their model of the world. It's just their reality. It's not necessarily ours. But they don't understand that. They don't understand that. And we've got to trust that everything they say or do or don't say is motivated by love. It's just misguided. Their thinking may be misguided or misunderstanding what the reality is for you. So recognizing how that everyone is in their own model of the world. Don't expect the same understanding that you have from them. And the third tip is actually related to that. It's about self-care. Noticing actually what your soul wants in any given moment. And if you don't fancy going to that party, don't go to that party. You don't owe anyone anything. And if you wonder what people might think of you, well, that's just their thinking. That's their model of the world. It's not truth, it's not reality. And you can't live your life trying to manage other people's thinking, other people's expectations, other people's stuff. Because they're living in their own model world created by their childhood thinking, their conditioning, their fears, their beliefs, their values, everything. And we can't live a life trying to manage their stuff. You can only live your life, well, you can try, but it doesn't lead to happiness or contentment or peace. True happiness, peace, and contentment comes from living from your own truth, your own soul, your own wisdom. So it's honouring your own soul during this period. It's trusting your instinct, what's right for you. And that place it's a place of love for yourself and love for other people. You don't become a selfish, arrogant git when you come from that place. But it's a place of love for you. And that's what I recommend you come from, is a place of love for you. So if you don't fancy going to that family party, honour your soul. Honour your soul. So they're my 3 top tips for this Christmas. And in the comments and in the description, I'm actually going to give you a Christmas gift. I'd like to give you a Christmas gift, and that's a discount to my six module mind body program, online mind body program, because it occurred to me today that could be really, really helpful during this time. Listening to someone or watching some of the videos to help ground yourself back to your innate well-being, to give you some inner strength and emotional resilience during this time. As well as there's some tools and tips about interrelationships, both wider friends and family, but also within your kind of a romantic relationship as well, because this can put the pressure on the best of relationships, particularly at a time like Christmas, which is supposed to be a time of festivities and fun, but as we know, it can also be a real time of stress as well. So it just occurred to me today that actually, I think it's a great program anyway, but I think it'd be really, really good at this time of year, in the lead up to Christmas. I want to offer you guys that at a discounted rate as a gift for you in this time leading up to Christmas.